This is the most traded stock in the world today, and to be honest, I can see why. Today I'm going to talk about Inspira Technologies, Nasdaq ticker IINN. This stock has gained over 80% today, but I think that this is just the start. So I knew I'd have to bring you this video ASAP. In this video, I will give you an overview of the company and their game-changing technology, but I will also give you my thoughts on why this is only the beginning for Inspira. I will look at the analyst price targets, the company's financials, the management team, and the links to major multinational medical corporations. You don't want to miss this, so stick around for the next 10 minutes because you're going to like what I have to say. If you've been watching the channel lately, you'll know the big gains that we have had just this week. We've seen 50% gains on Redhill Biopharma, 14% on Irlis International, and just yesterday we had a 60% gain on Asia Broadband. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button now and stop missing out on these huge money making stocks. Turn on notifications and find out about these stocks as soon as I make a video, instead of finding my video after the stocks have made huge gains. It costs you nothing, but it could make you a lot of money. This is not financial advice, and I encourage everyone to do your own due diligence. Now, let's dive into it. So who are Inspira Technologies? Inspira Technologies is an innovative medical device company in the respiratory care industry. Inspira is developing the ART device, a cost-effective early respiratory support system with an intent to function as an artificial lung for deteriorating respiratory patients. There is approximately 400 million people suffering from respiratory issues on an average year, out of which 20 million get placed on life support medical ventilation. That is just an average year. During the pandemic, ventilators have been on very short supply and those numbers have increased. The ART device is designed to utilize a hemoprotective flow approach aimed at rebalancing oxygen saturation levels while patients are awake and breathing, potentially minimizing the patient's need for medical ventilation. ART, or Augmented Respiratory Technology, is a solution that offers a treatment which directly oxygenates the blood, increasing saturation levels within 60 seconds, all of this while the patient is awake and responsive, and therefore ART does not require an ICU. It can be used in general wards. So this is game changing in my opinion. A major problem across the world right now is that as this new virus mutation spreads, that there might not be enough ICU beds for patients. This is a huge problem that has seen many countries go back into lockdowns to try to curb the spread of the virus and to keep the numbers in hospital ICUs from getting out of control. Here in Ireland, we have seen repeated lockdowns and constant restrictions over the past year to try slow the spread and ease the burden on hospitals. But the latest Omicron variant has plunged the country back to the highest level of restrictions, with the majority of the country once more working from home or back on government pandemic payments. I consider this to be game changing because it would mean that a lack of ICU beds would no longer be a problem. By the way, for anyone who is thinking about ICU beds as being just physical beds, that is not the issue. Beds themselves are not the problem, nor is the space to put these beds. The problem is with the lack of intensive care machinery such as life support and the lack of doctors and nurses that are trained to work in intensive care units. Now that you know more about this company and its products, let's talk about why this has taken off today and more about why I think that this stock is massively undervalued even after gaining more than 80% today. But first I need to point to one major downside right now, and this is a big drawback. You might be looking at the company and wondering why, if their technology is so great, is the company valued at only $36 million? And the reason is simple. The ART technology has not yet been approved by the US Food and Drug Administration or the CE or other required regulatory agencies as of yet. However, just yesterday, December 8th, Inspira Technologies announced it has filed a PCT patent application for its ART device and its proprietary methods to use to minimize the need for invasive mechanical ventilation which requires an induced coma. That was just yesterday, and then this morning came much bigger news, and this is a real indication of the level of potential that is here. Inspira Technologies announced that it has signed an exclusive distribution agreement with Innovamed, a distributor specializing in state-of-the-art medical solutions in Eastern Europe, the Middle East and Africa. Their leadership team has decades of experience with sales, marketing and distribution with medical devices in global healthcare industry companies including Baxter. Now if you don't know who Baxter are, they are a huge $40 billion multinational with over 48,000 employees worldwide. And we can see the effect that this had on the share price this morning, rising over 100% when market opened. The agreement is for over 1,500 ART systems in Poland, Czech Republic and Slovakia. The agreement is worth over $108 million for Inspira Technologies over a 7-year period subject to regulatory approvals. And this follows an agreement back in October worth $66 million for over 1,000 ART systems in Spain and Portugal. Again, this is subject to regulatory approval. So according to today's agreement, and in order to maintain exclusivity in the territory, Innovamed has committed to purchase minimum orders of 1,552 ART devices and 59,000 disposable units for deployment at hospitals and medical centres, subject to regulatory approvals for the sale and marketing of the ART devices in Poland, Czech Republic and Slovakia. So these deals hinge on this product getting its regulatory approvals in each of these countries, which the company has applied for. And I feel that this might not be a problem, which I will explain now. But first I just want to point out two things. It says in each of these press releases, the company's product has not yet been tested or used in humans and has not been approved by the FDA or the CE or other required regulatory agencies yet, so there are no guarantees. The second point is that today the share price has gained over 80% in one day, so a pullback tomorrow could easily happen, but I think that this would provide a great entry for the long-term investor. Just look back here at October, when the company announced the $66 million Spain and Portugal deal. The share price shot up over 300% to $9.59. It dropped again rapidly, and I think that this was largely due to the fact that they do not have FDA or other regulatory clearances yet. But then I found something extremely interesting, and this makes me hugely confident about Inspira Technologies not only getting FDA clearance but also signing even bigger deals in the very near future. The management team. Professor Bened Goldwasser. In 1993 he co-founded Vitamed Inc., which went public on Nasdaq in 95 and was later sold to Medtronic. He then co-founded Medinol Limited, one of Israel's most successful medical device firms, which partnered with Boston Scientific in the sales and marketing of its industry-leading coronary stents. If you don't know about these companies, these are some of the world's leading medical companies. Medtronic alone is valued at over $150 billion. So it would not be out of the question for a potential buyout to happen here in future, as that seems to be the way with Professor Goldwasser's companies. And Dagi bin Noon, serving as CEO, is the former co-founder, COO and director of Nano. He has multi-industry experience in growing companies from concept to sales. Now, if you've watched my recent Nano videos, you will be aware of how I feel about their technology. I think Nano is ahead of its time and their technology is groundbreaking. I feel the same way about this company right now. And I'm not the only one that feels this way. When we look at tip ranks, we can see that the price target for Inspira Technologies is $10. And looking at Market Beat, this $10 price target was set by Aegis Capital Corp, who recently boosted their price target from $9 to $10, which at the time provided 158% upside. Looking at the company's financial statements that they released just 2 weeks ago, we can see that they have total assets of $18 million and total liabilities of less than $5 million, giving the company a strong asset to liability ratio of over 3-1. This is very good to see, and assets is mainly made up of cash. 17 million of cash compared to just 4.3 million in current liabilities. So from a financial point of view, they are fine at the moment. But I feel that they might need to raise more finances to push the company onwards in future. Looking at the income statement, we can see that this company is still in its pre-revenue stage and that they have operating losses of 2.9 million for the recent 3-month period and 5.5 million in total so far this year. So at current levels, they do have enough cash runway to fund operations. In fact, we can see here that they actually recorded a small $2.5 million profit for the 3 months up to September 30th. And this was a result of financing income, which was a result of this. We believe that the exclusive agreement signed with the WAS Group for the potential deployment of more than 1,000 ART systems in Spain and Portugal led our investors to express their support by increasing most of the warrants issued in our IPO at an exercise price of $5.50 per share. Due to the exercise of these warrants, the number of outstanding ordinary shares has increased. This additional capital provides greater resources to support the company's navigation of research and development, regulatory approval, and go-to-market pathway. So guys, that brings us to the end of the video. If you've watched all the way through, then hit that like button. It really helps the channel out a lot. There was a lot more that I did not get to cover in this video today. So if you want to see more about Inspira Technologies, smash that like and comment down below. If you're new, hit the subscribe button and bell notification, follow me on Twitter, and I'll catch you in the next one.